And so what happened is when they first confronted me with my blog post, they were only pretty sure it was me, and they needed me to admit it to be sure. And when I wouldn't admit it, that bought me some time. Once, I don't know what it is they did that got them 100% proof, but once they had 100% proof, they gave me one last chance. And they called me in and they're like, we don't think it was you. We know it was you. And this is just your last chance to come clean. And I was like, oh, is that all this meeting is about? And like, yeah. I'm like, okay, bye. And I got up and left. I was like, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah.
That is when they were like, okay, we're going to declare him. But it wasn't instant because I was working for a high profile, famous Scientologist, at least famous in the Scientology world. And he was a fund manager back in the day, a famous fund manager, Kurt Feshbach. And they're like, we can't declare Aaron as long as he's working for Kurt, because if we do that, then Aaron's going to have a lawsuit against Kurt once Kurt fires him.
Yep. They gotta move some pieces around.
They had to move some pieces around. So they started maneuvering some things behind the scenes. And as soon as I saw the first piece get moved, I contacted an attorney immediately and just started secretly recording every single conversation that was taking place at work and everything. So to the point when, months later, when they finally called me in to officially lay me off, they gave me some bullshit story. And I'm recording the entire thing. I'm like, okay, so you guys know. I let them talk for like 15 minutes uninterrupted. I'm like, okay, you guys know that I know every single word you just said is complete bullshit, right? I'm like, oh, what? What? How could you say that? And I just packed up my things and left. Now, this is me still being in denial because, I was making good money working in a lucrative industry, the hedge fund research world. And yet I only got into this world through Kurt Feshbach because Kurt Feshbach was a Scientologist. And as a Scientologist, all he cares about is what your experience is with Scientology. He doesn't care if you're educated or anything that. He's like, we can train you to do anything. So I sort of lucked into this very lucrative industry that I never would have been able to get into the traditional route because I don't have a high school diploma. And so when I lost that job, I was literally like, I'm fucked. I mean, it's not like I'm unemployable. I can get a job anywhere, but I was making really good money there.
Yeah.
Well, just by virtue and luck of having already made a lot of great contacts in the industry during the 5 years that I was working for Kurt, I had people in the industry who helped me get into business for myself, get my own company formed, get my first client. And I'll tell you, one of the things that made this soul-destroying transition out of Scientology as easy for me as it was, that doesn't mean it was easy, but as easy as it was, is because money was never a problem. Scientology was never able to hold that over my head of like, we're going to rob you of your ability to support your family. And almost by luck, within 4 weeks of losing this job, I was making multiples more working for myself from home, doing the exact same stuff I'd already been doing for Kurt for 5 years.